All right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai, Bahashim Rakakudash. Double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and salutations to Allah Akim who is doing the work with sincerity and charity, with humiliation all across the four winds. To you I salute. This is the brother Karatazar from the GMS Bahamas camp. Back to deal with another quick hit. All right, the name of this lesson is going to be called Guilty Conscience. Guilty Conscience. All right. So today at work, I just was meditating, on how Jake having the law, doing the things that are contained in the law, which they have in the law unto themselves. All right, which shows that, Jake, have a conscience, right? So Jake know when he doing wrong, and Jake know when he do wrong. Because why? It ain't gonna sit right with him, and especially, if you do something wrong, and you can't really talk to nobody, and you can't, admit to nobody the wrong you do. All right, you constantly talk about it. All right, that shows that you have a guilty conscience. All right, and the Urim and the Thummim, all right, reveals it. All right, which in today's time, the Urim and the Thummim would be, these holy scriptures. All right, but I just can show you, all right, that your guilty conscience and your conduct goes hand in hand. All right, Lord willing, this quick hit be edifying. Now I ain't gonna waste my time on it. All right, but this just to prove that when you have when you constantly talk about something you do wrong, all right, and you can't say nothing to nobody, it hurts, it pains you. Because why? You can't reveal it. All right, so without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, this is the book of Romans chapter 2. All right, we can start here at verse 13. It reads, "For not the hearers of the law are justified before God, but the doers of the law shall be justified." Watch this. "For when the Gentiles which have not the law do by nature the things contained in the law, these having not the law are law unto themselves." You see that, right? You see that? That's going into them having a conscience. Because, for example, right, if Jake know he doing wrong and he going off and he can't say nothing to nobody, guess what? His conscience is gonna fucking lick him. His conscience is gonna beat him up bad. All right, why? Because he know it's wrong. And guess what? Only Jake have a conscience. But let's further prove that. All right, because the Gentiles here, these are speaking about Israelite foreigners. All right? Israelites that are in a Gentile state of mind. Watch this. Watch this. Verse 15, this is the point. Right? Which show the work of the law written in their hearts. All right? For example, right? Let's say, like all these Chinese and niggas eat dog. Right? Jake know within themselves not to eat that. Because they know that that is wrong. I just using that as an example. But how much more when you do some other dumb shit? You understand? Right? It says, which show the work of the law written in their hearts. Watch this. See, yet this is the point. Their conscience also bearing witness. Their conscience also bearing witnesses because they fucking guilty. You understand? So if you hear Jay keep talking about something and being emotional and hurt, that's the guilt. All right? Their conscience also bearing witness. What this? And their thoughts. They can't damn sleep because they know they wrong. All right? And their thoughts. The meanwhile accusing or else excusing one another. So their conscience hold them guilty. So anytime you do some other shit, you do some dumb shit, and you can't reveal that, you always talking and you hurt over that, you're guilty. All right? This here is the good news, right? It's the good news translation. All right? This is the same book, Romans chapter 2. Okay, and verse 13. Watch this, right? It says, "For it is not by hearing the law that the people are put right with God, but by doing what the law commands." Verse 14. "The Gentiles do not have the law, but whenever they do, by instinct, what the law commands, they are their own law, even though they do not have the law." Because why? They're keeping the laws of the Most High within their spirit. All right? They know to do right because the law, statutes, and commandments is embedded in their spirit. Right? Okay? Where is now? Verse 15. Right? What this? It says, "Their conduct shows what the law commands is written in their hearts." Watch this. "Their conscience also show that this is true." You see that? So a guilty conscience proves that you're fucking guilty. You understand? You do some dumb shit, your conscience lick you, you keep talking about it, you're fucking guilty. Guilty is charged. All right? Their conduct shows that what the law commands is written in their hearts. Right? Their conscience also shows that this is true, since their thoughts sometimes accuse them. You see that? Why you could say, man, well, man, I hurt over the fact that this and that and the next. That's because you're fucking guilty. See, the Urim and the Thummim ain't a lie. Which, Lord willing, I'm going to do a lesson on that. All right? And sometimes defend them. All right? Now, I took the initiative and I look up this word, conscience. I Google the word conscience, and you could also Google this in your spare time as well. Right? For the word conscience, it says, a moral, a person's moral sense of right and wrong, viewed as acting as a guide to one's behavior. All right, then they have a sentence here, right? It says, he had a guilty conscience about his desires. You see that? When you look at some of the synonyms, it says what? Sense of right and wrong, moral sense, inner voice, moral standards, values, principles. All right? So guess what? If you hurt over some dumb shit you do, you're talking about it, that is because you're guilty. You understand? All right, Jake have a conscience. All right, and over here we say your conscience will lick you, or your conscience will beat you. Why? Because you're guilty. That's how you know you're wrong. All right, so Lord willing, I hope that this quick hit was edifying. Shalom.